All right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us here today for this EZFacility webinar. Today we'll be going through some of the membership actions, mainly what takes place after a sale. So again, it could be about pending membership or cancellations, suspensions, freezes, mostly focusing on those sections here. Well, I'll also get into other things, other subjects like add-ons, just as a reminder, membership add-ons, how those work and things to look out for there. I'll also have, as a part of this discussion, take into effect for any of you that are using door access control. So if someone's using Passport or Brevo, I'll go into how some of those membership actions would affect that and things to look out for there. Looks like we got still just have some people filing in here. Feel free to please load in any questions into the meeting as we go through here. I will do my best to get into those, but I'll mainly be going through those towards the ending portion of each section, each module we go into. And I guess just to make sure, I want to make sure, should have asked this beforehand, but if everyone could just raise their hand in the attendees section, just want to make sure everyone can hear me clearly, and that way we can jump in and begin. All right, awesome. We got everyone raising their hand there. Thank you so much for that. Okay, let me just, okay. So we got a question here, EZFacility Classic. Really this webinar, I'm really gonna be focusing on, the new UI here for the webinar, but I'll make a note, try to mention some things for Classic. Really the things we'll be discussing today would really also still apply to Classic, but I'll support that here as well. Also, in case you're just asking if we're supporting EZFacility Classic in general, yes, EZFacility Classic is still an option here, but we're focusing on the new UI. All right, so to start here, right, I want to focus on, let's say, the main three first, right? Cancellations, suspensions, and freezes, right? Let's focus on those first, and then I will get into the other portions here as well. Easy signups. No, won't be discussing easy signups today, but I can make a note for that in the future. Can I make the presentation larger? I can try to zoom in a bit. I hope that's maybe a bit easier to see there. Definitely let me know. Okay, so let's dive into clients. And just in here, I have a client category set up. Just for a few examples we will work on here. All right, so we have freeze a membership, suspending a membership, cancel membership with a refund, and then canceling without a refund here. So let's start with the cancellations here first, right? So cancel membership with a refund, right? Now, if you are, the main thing to understand here, if you are canceling a membership and you have to give the refund, right? You have to first cancel the membership itself. That will create the reversal, and then you'll see that money on account where you could pass it along, send it back to those clients here. All right, so scrolling down here, we have the membership tab, right? This person's an active member, right, as of today, actually. So from here, we can scroll over to the right side. You'll see the edit pencil here, right? And again, pretty much seeing the same information listed here. But down here, we'll hit cancel contract, right? And this is now where we could cancel the membership and reverse the charge that has been made here. Now, the biggest thing to keep in mind here, right, and it tells you this underneath the cancellation date, to undo a contract, enter the contract's start date as the cancellation date. So right up here, we see our start date for February 22nd. That has to be entered in here in order for this refund to be sent back to the client, right? So you have to enter that date to get to the refund, right? Also, as it says up here, canceling this will reverse all billing for the future, or not reverse, but it will cancel any billing for the future. It will turn off the auto renewal, right? It's canceling it here and now. Enter any remarks, of course, right? That you need here as well. Cancel reason. This ties into a report, actually. If you go into reports, go to the memberships reports, you'll see memberships by status. These are, of course, all the different cancel reasons. So whenever you cancel a membership, whatever reason you choose here, right, in that membership by status report, it would say 5 canceled because of other, 10 were upgrades, 3 were downgrades. It'll give you those numbers and organize them that way as well. But from here, I'm hitting cancel. And also, and I think I saw briefly someone asked this question. If not, I'll certainly get to it. If an add-on, if a package plan is connected to a membership, when you cancel this here, it's asking you, hey, they have this package plan connected. Do you also want to delete this package as you cancel the membership? So hit yes. Right, so now that package plan has also been canceled, right? They can't use that. They're not a member. They don't have access to that going forward. So underneath, we now see history of status changes. It gives us that full update here. This has been canceled. If I hit go back, right, and I'll just do a refresh on the page here, right? So now we see there's now $20 as money on account because that's what they paid so far towards this membership, a value of $20. So down here, we would hit refund. And the payment method, right, just you would typically match the same payment method there, and you'll issue that refund back. If it's ever a refund by credit card, I always just like to remind you, right, it could always take a couple of business days for the client to see it on their end, but you'll just simply re-enter that same card, hit issue refund, and now that's been sent back to the client. So that's canceling it with a refund. Biggest thing, again, you have to enter the start date as the cancellation date in those steps. So if we now go back to clients, so if we're now going about this canceling the membership without a refund, right, which maybe you have a policy, a 30-day policy or something of that nature, right? So we'll see here cancel membership without a refund. Now initially, we are going to the same steps here, going to the membership tab, right? We see the membership here. Over to the right here, we will hit the edit pencil. So canceling without the refund, right? What I always highly recommend for that, right? If you're able to, right? If the situation allows it, you'll see here that this is auto renewing, right? So to the right, if we just hit disable, right? That's it. In this case here, in this example, this membership will now continue to run until the end of March 31st, as it was set to, right? This was prorated, so they bought this today, but that's why it's showing March 31st here, the full next month there. So that's it. That will not renew. They have paid for February here. Because this is prorated, it will still require them to pay for this upcoming month of March here, right? But if we hit go back, You go up here, you'll see this balance is here as well. So if you say to them, for some reason, you need to wipe that out as well, you're not going to charge them that, you can go down to billing, go into invoices, right? We'll see, right? We have this open invoice here. So we can open up this pencil here, right? So we see, right, they paid the $50 so far, right? And now they have this $20 left over. If you had to reverse this, you'll see the reverse icon to the left, right? Again, you'll enter the reason, right? And anything you are reversing, you're going here, enter the original bill date. So it's reversing it as of that date in the system. You'll hit submit. And now that's reversed out of here as well. So if you're prorating, you may not have to do that, right? You still may be charging them because you're saying, we prorated you, this is what you owe us for the remainder of this term, but just in case you have to go through that there. So that's canceling with and without a refund. I just want to check on some questions here. Okay. Okay, when we suspend memberships for non-payment, it still allows them to make reservations using their benefits. So Chris, C2, just to make sure I'm understanding, you're saying if they have an add-on and you suspend the membership, you're saying it's still letting them use like a package plan, for example. If you could just confirm that for me. Okay, does that cancel all the other packages the member has, or just the one that was linked to the membership? No, so that is, Jim, that is only canceling the package connected to the membership. That is not canceling other packages they have and they purchased separately. Only the ones connected to the membership they purchased via an add-on. Okay, if they used a credit card, will the refund go back on the card? Yes, as long as when you refund it, I don't have anything there to refund right now, but yes, as long as when you refund it, you choose the card that they paid with, right? When you go to refund by credit card, and I can try to find a quick client here to show this, but anyone with a balance potentially on account now, all right, but I can do this. Just put $5. Okay. When you hit refund here, if you need to go back to the same card, you'll choose credit card processed, right? Now underneath that, it'll say use same card or use a different card. So if you just hit use same card they paid with, then that's, it'll go back to that same card. Obviously, if they want to use a different card, then you would hit other card and you can enter a different one from there as well. So definitely can as long as you choose it. And okay, does that, all right, does that cancel all? Be on the same date. To Quicken does not reflect this well. Our accounting department does not like to cancel to be on the same date as the export from EZFacility. I think you're saying QuickBooks there does not reflect this as well. Our process is to cancel without a refund and then a reversal of the invoice. Okay, Jim, I'm gonna make a note here. I'll try to follow up with you a bit later to discuss that, because I think you're talking about QuickBooks there. Okay. Why do we have to select the original build date? The reason you need to choose the original build date is, right, example being if I bought a membership January 1st, but now today I need a refund, right? I need to reverse that and refund it. When you reverse the charge for whatever that service was, a membership, let's say, you need to choose the original bill date to make sure everything that they have paid so far from that original bill date, January 1st, up to the current date today, we are reversing those payments entirely. I know in a lot of cases, it may just be one payment that's covering that period, but there are other situations where it might just be one $50 payment you need, but what happens if the client pays 25 here and 25 there, right? So that's why you're choosing the original bill date to go back to the cover everything in between when it was sold up to the current date and time. Okay, and then you said yes, they can still use the memory lanes. Okay, so on a suspension, it still lets them use the add-ons. Okay, Chris, I'm gonna make a note of that here, and I'll follow up on that with the dev team there. I'll pass that along for you. Suspension uses the add-ons. Okay. Okay. All right. Before I go through any more questions, I want to go through the freeze and the suspensions more as well, and that way we can maybe cover some of those questions too. All right. So suspending a membership, right? A suspension and a freeze are two different things, right? Now a suspension, for whatever reason, whatever the reason is, right? The suspension is essentially they can't go to the facility. They can't come to the facility for whatever reason, right? Bad behavior, whatever it is, maybe something like that. But you are still billing them. They're still being billed as they normally would be, right? So if you suspend me for 2 months, right, or you just suspend me and then you haven't decided when I can come back yet, and I'm on a monthly renewing membership, for example, right, I will still get billed that normal monthly membership rate, right? So again, go down to the membership tab. You'll see here over to the right, again, hit the edit pencil. And you'll see down here, we have add a suspension. So we have first day of suspension. If you know what the last day of the suspension is, like you're saying, hey, you're suspended until the end of March, then that's fine, right? You can mark that there. You can enter a fee, right? So like it would just be $10. Now they'll be charged $10 as well on top of the normal monthly or whatever type of fee you're charging them, yearly, seasonal, whatever it might be. From here, I'll hit test. And then here I could hit suspend. Right now we have this here. So this client, if I hit go back, and again, I just want to refresh the page here. All right. So this client is now suspended, right? And when you go to the membership tab, the filter automatically brings you to active. So they're not there now. They're not active. They are suspended. So it shows that here out in the clients list, right? If I scroll over to the right here, we'll see it has this icon saying they're suspended, almost a red avatar there. So they're suspended. They're still being billed as they normally would be, as if they're going there, right? And you have that additional $10 charge that would bill them. It would add on to their normal billing as well. Now, I also want to tie in something here as well. I'll give more of a visual for this a little bit later, but if you suspend a member, or if you cancel a member, or if you freeze a member and you have door access, so Passport or Revo, for example, ones that we connect with, if you have questions or you want to inquire about that, I would say reach out to the support team. But as long as you said for any of those three, right, things, cancellation, suspension, or freeze, they can't go there. They can't go during that time, right? They're denied entry. But I'll get into more of that a little bit later. The freeze, right? The freeze, right? I know I get a lot of facilities, they have college kids that, currently live in the area, but they come and go, they go back to school, they come back, they'll unfreeze the membership. A freeze is stopping the billing. If you freeze my membership for all of February and all of March, I'm not being billed for that time frame, right? It's stopping the billing. So again, go down to the membership tab. To the right, we're hitting the pencil again. We'll hit add a freeze this time. Now again, like this suspension, it's optional, right? It may be a case where maybe you don't know the last day to freeze. You don't know what that is yet, right? You could leave this open, or if they know, hey, I'll be back April 1st, I'll be back April, so we'll put the freeze until the end of March. You can put that here, whatever it might require. I'm just going to leave this open since I filled out the other one for this example. So you would hit freeze. So right now this is open, right? You could always go back here and set the end date. Maybe they call you, say, hey, you know what, I know actually what that's going to be now, right? You could always update that through here. The main thing with the freeze, right, is that if you freeze me, let's say for 2 months here, right? If I put this to, so not February to March, but now we're in April, right? And we'll set that as the end date now, right? The billing will now pick back up essentially as of this date, right? Or really in this case, it would be April 23rd. So for example, if you initially started out prorating a membership, for example, where you wanted every first of the month there, right? It's not going to then start the billing up again on the first there, right? It will continue as of that exact end date. Or even if you don't prorate, like I bought my membership on January 3rd, but now my freeze is ending as of April 23rd. That is when the new billing cycle will pick up from. It's not going to reset to the date it was originally sold on. So keep that in mind as well. It's just going to freeze the membership, right? And you have that there. You can hit remove here, right? And then it just brings you back here. Yes, remove the end date of the freeze, or do not remove. If you hit remove this, then it removes that end date. You could go back here again, and you could still change it. So again, not set in stone. You can make that update as you need to. All right, and then also down here, like when you go into this, if you're going to set the end date, you have a few options here. So place each unfrozen item on its own new invoice. So everything that was unfrozen, you want to put that just on one invoice together or one item together. You could do that. You could place all unfrozen items on one new invoice, where they're just on one, or actually, I'm sorry. This would be where they're on each one separately. They're on their own invoice, so each month would have its own. This would keep them together on one invoice. So if you freeze me for 3 months, it'll put 3 line items on one invoice there. Or you could just say leave unfrozen items uninvoiced for now, and then you could always, after the fact, decide how you want to treat that as well. So those are really the main 3 again. Let me jump back through here. Let me jump back a bit. Okay, let me jump back up here. Got quite a few. That was awesome to see. Okay, is there ever a time that you would put today's date as the reverse date, or will it always be as the original date? I'd really say put the original date. If you put today's date, it'll still reverse, but from a reporting perspective, it'll look odd, right? Like if you make the reversal today, it'll show in the system that, hey, this was taken care of today. Like someone went in, a user went in and they took care of this today. But on the report, you wanted to go back to the original end date. So again, you're making sure you're taking care of anything paid within those 2 date ranges there. Okay, prorate, I'll if I have time at the end, I'll try to go back to that there. The system does not automatically set up a prorate in the membership plans. You have a prorate tab. When you create a membership, you have a prorate tab. You have to choose it there. I'll try to get to that as best I can. Filters. Okay, let me go to clients for a second. Yeah, in the filters on the clients page, like you have some filters here, recently accessed, created, birthdays, all members, all contacts. Other ones down here, these are some ones I just created on its own. So you can create those if you go to client settings. You'll have client categories, you can create those there. However, if you're not seeing some of the basic filters here, right, like recently created, recently accessed, things like that, if you're not seeing those, I would give our support team a call and they can investigate that with you on the spot. Okay, the original bill date. If you choose the original bill date, it will not show on your end of day report though, correct? Right, like again, you'll see like, right, if you look at, I'm assuming you're talking about a revenue report there. If you look in the revenue report, you'll see that, like it'll show the reversal was done today, but then it will tie in the original start date. It will just show the start date of that service that you sold there. Okay, let me read through this one. Same date, points at choosing the same day as the original bill date. This will be probably reflected on the export to QuickBooks. Much better to cancel on the current date, not the original date, and then do invoice reversal. Okay, I see what you're saying there, Jim. Filter in the membership tab. All right, I see what you're saying there, Jim. I'll still try to reach out to you today or sometime this week when I can. I would just maybe want to get more information on how what you're seeing in QuickBooks there. Okay. All right, thank you, Jim. It would be great for the filter in the membership tab to default to most recent records, since that's what we always wanted to see. Well, it always defaults to recently accessed. So I would envision that would be the same thing, but maybe not. It will always default to recently accessed. When you go to clients, it'll always go to that. But in like the membership tab, if you're referring to that specifically, it should always initially pop up with what's active, but I can pass that along. Okay, does freeze extend their membership if they're on an annual membership? Good question there. If you freeze, if they have an annual membership and they're currently 2 months in to the membership, you now freeze it for another 2 months. Technically then, yes, that membership will now be extended by another 2 months. But remember, we're not being billed for the time they're frozen for. We're now just extending that membership. So yes, it would technically extend the membership there. Okay, with the freeze, if the member doesn't have a return date, why not just cancel them? I see the advantage when they have a restart date, but if they have no restart date, then why freeze? I think that's more dependent on the facility and the situation. Maybe they're going away for a while, the client's going away for a while, the member's going away for a while, and they just don't exactly know when they're coming back, so they want to freeze it. And maybe it's what you're saying there, maybe just cancel them. Maybe the other side of that is, hey, we'll freeze them, but you're coming back, so now we don't have to like resell it to you. We'll keep you just with this plan here. But I think that's mainly dependent on the situation, maybe with the client and the facility itself there. Okay, currently we manually prorate our billing. Is there a way to do this automatically? Okay, I don't know if we get to prorate in a bit. Actually, let me go into that now. So if you have to prorate a membership, yeah, definitely avoid doing it manually if you can. Membership plans, right? You have to go here to initially set this up. As you sell a membership, you could manually prorate if you manually, let's say, fiddle with the dates, but to automatically have it done, right, you would create your membership plan or just open up one you have here. This is a monthly, that'll do. So you'll have the prorate tab. Now, currently this one does not prorate. The system can only automatically prorate to the first of the month. For that to happen automatically, choose this first option saying extend the contract's last term until a full billing month is created. So again, that would be, I buy a membership today, it's taking my last term, referring to the last days in this month of February, and it will essentially attach that line item for February onto the same invoice for, in this case, the full month of March. So this is how you set that up there. You have to set up for each membership you would sell or each membership that would need it. It is not a universal option you could set here for everything. So definitely that could be done. Have that there. Okay, one is so when a membership is frozen, it saves all those invoices for later date. Right, if you freeze the membership, you'll have those invoices, right, that would normally be created because it wants to show more just keeping a record of that. So you'll have those for view as a later date. when you unfreeze it, again, if you set the end date for the freeze or you unfreeze it like March 31st or April 1st, right? April 1st will now start the next billing cycle. But yes, it will hold on to those items, those invoices for future use. Why is there a billing option for freezes if the whole purpose of a freeze is that it stops billing? So again, if you freeze the membership, it is not billing them. There's only that extra billing option if you suspend a membership or you suspend a member. If you suspend the member, then yes, you'll continue to bill them and you could add on another additional fee, right? That's only with the suspension, right? If I go to membership tab and we'll bring this to suspended here, right? That's only can be done with a suspension, right? You can only do that with the suspension. You cannot do that with a freeze, right? Only can do that here. A freeze is pausing the billing. It'll keep a record. It will keep a record of the time frame that you froze, and it will keep a record of the invoices for that time frame, but is not billing them for a freeze. No billing for a freeze. A true pause on the membership there. Why do we have to make a selection for the invoice if it's a freeze? Well, you're not really selecting the invoice. It's again keeping a record of, really just keeping a record of it, just so you have a record as an invoice or just an item, or an invoice that has multiple line items of the months that were frozen. It also don't necessarily have to choose that there, right? Either way, it's going to freeze them. It's just going to keep a record of it there. After the suspension, will the membership automatically become active again? Yes. And we can technically say the same thing for a freeze, right? But that is assuming you put the end date in advance, right? Put the end date in advance, the day after the end date, it'll become active, right? If you don't put the end date there, then that's a different story. You have to go there and unsuspend it or unfreeze it in the account. Okay. Although freezing stops billing, does the client then get billed for the full amount that would have been due once you unfreeze it? No. Freeze the membership, the time frame that they're frozen for. Again, if you freeze them for 2 months, they're not being billed for those 2 months. Again, it'll now extend the membership, let's say by 2 months, if it's, let's say, a yearly membership, for example, and they'll now be billed for that new time frame that it's set for. Okay, if I have a credit card payment go through, but on their account, it shows they still owe, right? How do I remove what they owe on their account? I mean, if you have a credit card payment go through, but on their account it still shows they still owe. I guess, Ryan, you're asking if it's still showing they have like a due amount or a balance there. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. If they made the payment, but it's then still showing that there, you may just have to refresh the page, or you may have to clear the cache and refresh. It may just not have updated right away, but I guess confirm that further if you can. Okay. Trying to focus on the freezes and the suspensions here. Is there a way to freeze? Is there a way to freeze all memberships? If you're interested in freezing all memberships, I would give the support team a call, and they can give you more information on that. Yeah, we give the support team a call. They can give you more information on that there. If you have to freeze all of them, give them a call. Okay, if a member has a past due balance, it needs to be paid before they can use the facility again. Account. If you have to flag someone's account, like because they're behind on a payment or they are, for whatever reason, you have billing status here. I would just say choose one of this, like active or on hold or in collections. I would say using that there, that'll post it as more of a billing status. Otherwise, if it needs to be related to the membership, I would consider the freeze or really probably the freeze options there if you want to pause them. Groups cannot prorate. Groups do not prorate. Only memberships prorate automatically. Again, you could prorate anything here, but if it's not a membership, then you have to do it manually. Item to the renewal. We suspended membership. Okay, yeah. So I want to get to also door access control because I know quite a few of you use that as well. So really, the main thing to keep in mind with that, right? For door access, if you suspend or cancel, whatever it might be, you have to go to administration. You have to then go down to client settings, right? And you'll see here it's saying access control. If anyone's using the classic view, you can scroll down to client settings. You should see access control there, or maybe at the very top of the page there. Either way, you'll have the same options as we'll see here in the UI. So it all depends on what you have here for the memberships, right? For door access control. It all depends on what you have here. Expired, canceled, suspended, frozen, depleted. That's what this all depends on here. If the membership expires, they can't get in, cancel, suspended, frozen, you have to be mindful of what's chosen here. Depleted is referring to max visits. If you set a membership that you're selling, where that membership only gives a certain number of visits, right? Once they're then depleted of that, if you give me 10 visits, I use all 10 of my visits this month. Let's say I use up the 10th one yesterday. This is on deny entry, so I can't get in, right? When you check them in or when they try to get to the door, it will not let them in. It all depends what you choose here. The past due option, this is referring to billing. If they are overdue in a payment, they still owe you something, they're behind on an open invoice or a balance, right? And let's say we put this to 10, as in 10 days, they still haven't paid that due amount by the 10 days, they can't get in. So again, it all comes into effect here. It all depends on what you choose here. So when you suspend a membership, is the access automatically suspended? Yes, as long as you've chosen and you've set these options up within here. Again, that's administration. You have client settings, and then you have access control underneath. So absolutely depends on that. Okay. Doesn't come. So what's the best option for someone who comes and then goes to the facility, but then stops going to the facility and their card expires while they're on an auto renew for a membership? I mean, again, that depends on the preference of the facility. I would maybe envision a freeze for that because they stop going there, but their card is still on file, but then the card expires. I mean, you could freeze them if you just want to pause it. You don't want the system to keep creating invoices each month. Just freeze it and pause it. But maybe you're, I would probably say a freeze. Maybe doing cancellation though, and you're gonna just, cancel the membership, end it there, and just call it a day. I would say one of those two. I don't know about it if I would do a suspension, because then it's continuing to bill them if they're not going there. But again, that all depends on the preference there. I would probably say a freeze or a cancellation. Okay. A definition of expired would just be once the membership runs its course, like probably the best definition I can give. If you give me a membership that maybe is billing me monthly, but it's only set to bill me every month for 12 months, but that membership isn't auto renewing, right? Then at the end of those 12 months, at the end of that year, it'll expire. The membership is no longer running, right? That's it. It's expired. They can no longer go there. The membership has ended. For those of you that do auto renewals, though, you're probably not going to see expirations too often unless you decide to disable the auto renew, and then it's just going to stop running automatically. Okay, when a customer buys a membership online, does it save the card info automatically? That all depends on the setting. Assuming you're talking about self-service administration, self-service preferences. If you scroll down, you can control through here the credit card settings as to whether or not you're forcing it or it's optional for them to save it. It all really depends on that. Okay. As far as seeing a record of how many times something's been frozen or suspended, I mean, if you go to a client's profile, you'll be able to, well, it's definitely if you go to a client's profile and you go to the membership tab, through here, you can just go to frozen, see what's frozen, or you could see what was suspended or canceled. But that's currently. If you leave it like that, then it will, of course, stay there. If we go to reports and we go to membership reports, so let me show three reports here. So one, membership by status. This is the report that's showing you the most active representation of active members, right? Initially, if I generate the report, you can see this down here. It shows you who's active, who's currently active, who is currently canceled, who's currently frozen, who's currently pending, who's currently suspended. Now the canceled ones, right, those aren't changing because it's not, if someone comes back, you're not going to uncancel them, you're just going to sell them a new membership, right? But again, this is more showing the active numbers you have. I'd say if you ever had to export or print out a report of active members you have, this is the best one to go with. So you have this here for what's currently in the system. You have that here. This report, you could also say include billing details. If I just rerun this here, refresh this guy here, I hit show details. Then I hit show membership contract, right? It'll then show underneath what they're being billed for that term or what they were billed for that term. So you can even get more data here as well. I know this is a very helpful one for a lot of facilities. You also then have your membership actions and the membership ending actions. So membership actions, right? You would set up, I'll just, let's say, put this for the month of February here, right? But set up your date range. You can specify the action canceled, frozen, suspended, right? I'll put frozen for now. You can also choose how to run this, right? Should this run by the start date of the action or the end date or both, whatever is preferred. I'll maybe say both is probably best because you want to see obviously what the start date was entered for the freeze or the suspension or the cancellation date and the end. Maybe you want to see those together. And you can also specify a membership type, right? So I'll actually just go here and specify all of them. And you could then, if it's for a cancellation, what was the reason you chose, right? For now, though, I would run this here, right? And then down here, we'll see we have frozen here. You'll see you have suspended here, right? Just rerun that here, right? And you would have canceled here as well. These are total canceled memberships. It'll show the freezes here as well, or depending on the options chosen there. Although I am going to make a quick note here just for that. Looks like that might be. I do have suspended shows and showing cancels, so I'm just going to make a quick note of that here. I'll have someone look into that there. Outside of that, though, you also have membership ending actions. So I'll just choose date range again. Again, what's the reason? This is frozen or suspended. And then you could, again, specify the membership type there. Generate report, right? And then here, you would see those clients listed out. But again, keep in mind, it's not really showing the history. It's showing what was frozen or what was suspended in those date ranges from here. So you have those reports there. Okay, let me go back here. If a membership expires, can they still renew online? If a membership expires, then yeah, they can still. Well, if a membership expires, they would just need to purchase a new one online. Clients cannot cancel, freeze, suspend, or renew a membership on their own. Only you all as users of the software can do that for them. All they can do online regarding a membership is buy a membership, see their membership number, and that's really about it. So renew, I guess when you're saying renew, you're saying purchasing. So yes, they can definitely purchase on their own as long as you have that set up for self-service, or you have self-service set up, I should say. Okay, if you were denying entry for past due balances but integrated with another system for a POS, will it alert them on the integrated POS that they are being denied access from? So Shannon, that's a great question. I know for POS systems, and when I'm talking about that, I'm saying for selling items per se and physical items there. I know we work with Rapid POS for gun ranges, and I know it does show the client's information on there. Let me look into that for you though, Shannon. I'll get back to you. I just want to confirm exactly what it would show on there. So like you said, if they freeze or suspend, will that show up on there as well? If I had to guess, I would say yes, but I can't confirm that. I will look into that for you there. That also may just frankly play into if we connect or integrate with just whatever POS system you are using. Okay, how can we sell passes for a day, for a week, and for a month? Appreciate any advice you have on that. I guess I need a little bit more information. You sell passes for a day, for a week, and for a month. I mean, if you're doing day passes or week passes, I try to always recommend you set those up as memberships, so it's a bit easier to keep track of the history for that. I guess that's my best advice, and you do the same thing. Anything monthly, yearly for a membership, I would advise doing through membership plans. Same thing for a day or the week pass as well. But yeah, we need a little bit more info on that. Please know about integrate with Rapid for gun range. We have that system too, but currently, yeah, if you're integrated, or sorry, if you're interested for integrating with Rapid POS, I would advise reaching out to your account manager. That would be whomever you spoke to during your demo call or your sales call with EZFacility. They can assist you with that further. Anthony, I'll try to look up who that is, and I'll see if they can reach out to you for that as well. If a client just decides to change up their membership in the middle of their contract, really your only two options would be that one, you would have to, let me just get back to a member here. Let me actually go back to this one. Okay, yeah, I mean, if a client decides to cancel their, or not cancel, but change their plan to a different one in the middle of the membership, you can either just disable the renewal if that's gonna be coming up in a few days and sell them a new one, future date it. Otherwise, you have to cancel the contract. Again, enter the start date as the cancellation date, right? And then I will say upgrade, maybe cancel it, right? And then from there, you would just have to sell them now a new membership, right? By doing that, you're not really refunding them or deleting what they've paid so far. You could just now sell them a membership. I do like individual monthly here, for example, right? From here, maybe you want to backdate it. Like, okay, they changed their membership in the middle of the month, but their membership starts every first of the month, so we'll backdate this to February 1st. That way, it'll just keep renewing every month on the 1st going forward. That's what you would have to do. If they're changing the plan in the middle of the month or the membership, you would have to cancel and resell. All right. Sale versus the other statuses. Okay, if in the system, there really isn't a way to truly permanently delete a client from the account, right? With that said, if you were on a client's profile, you have the drop down here, the green drop down. This is a universal drop down. It will do different things on different pages throughout the software. But here, if we're on a client's profile, if I hit disable client, now this Caroline client will now not be active anywhere in the system. If you search for her on the schedule, if you search for her in the active clients list, right, you will not see her anywhere in the active list. You'll see that she's nowhere to be found now. So if you disable them, you would have that there. Again, as far as the door access controls, right, do whatever you have to do for the membership, right? But again, that all comes down to whatever settings, whatever options you put into effect here. Okay. Also, by the way, for door access control, really should be on rules based. The access mode needs to be on rules based here as a default, because that means this is following whatever rules you set up in your Passport or in your Brevo or in your door access control system. That's very important as well. If you leave this as the default as allow entry, then, with the exception of these options here, that everyone can get in. So it should always be on rules based to follow whatever settings, whatever preferences or options you put into your account. Can we do customized reporting to our needs? So customized reportings, if you really have a request for a report to be created and customized, I would reach out to support and then you could discuss that with someone in our development team. That usually comes down, it all comes down to if it's something that would make sense for a lot of other accounts as well, but that usually goes into a larger conversation. So if you're really interested in learning more about that, I would say reach out to the support team and they can advise you accordingly. They can ask you some more questions about that there. Generally speaking, all the reports here are not customized individually. We have these all set up so it covers a large spectrum of our client base, our user base, let's say instead. If the senior member forgot to request a hold, and when the member comes back after 6 months, the system showed balance due. How can we eliminate the balance? Well, I would say really, you could always go to the membership and you could do one of two things. You could either go to freeze it and backdate the freeze, right? That's one option there. Otherwise, if you don't want to backdate the freeze, you just want to keep them where they are, but then like take care of the billing for those 6 months, you would need to go to, let me actually just find a member here. John Doe, you're a member. Billing. So billing, you can go to items, and it will show everything they paid for so far. Really for that, I would just advise reverse those invoices. So then takes the money off, right? So for example, if I reverse this here, right, and I'll put the original bill date again, or reversing original bill date. Now 2250 up here, you would do the same thing for those 6 other, well, in that case, those 5 other months there. From that point, if you just need to wipe out what they were billed for that time frame, go to, you're still in billing, but go to payments. You'll see this here, and you can now just void that, essentially that open balance from the system. So now that's deleted, that's taken out of the account there. Using Passport, your display of the membership number is not large enough to display the entire number that's going to the right. Can you enlarge the window? I would just keep in mind, Kirby, I am zoomed in here purposely, so that's why I have it there, but, or you know what, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're probably seeing it here. Yeah, I was zoomed in a bit, so maybe that was why, but I can also pass that along and see if just in general this can be made more apparent, or maybe this, you want the membership number to actually be on the client list somewhere here. I can try to pass that along for future feedback. Okay, and then if the contract expires and auto renewal, if the contract expires and auto renewal is off, does the membership change to non-member on the profile view? Yeah, if the contract expires, then that person is now a non-member. They are no longer an active member. Even if the contract expired, yeah, I mean, if the contract expires and auto renewal is turned off, then yes, they are now a non-member. No, voiding is not the same thing as a refund. Absolutely not. Refunding is sending the payment back to the client. Voiding a payment is deleting the payment from your records here in EZFacility, almost as if that never payment came in. Those are two very different things. Void a payment is deleting a payment. You were deleting it, was never here essentially. Refunding is sending the payment back to the client. Like common, I wouldn't say common, but a case of a refund, a more common case could be where the client paid you, right, for a membership a month, let's say $20 for that month. But for whatever reason, the client maybe goes to their bank and they tell the bank or their credit card company, hey, I never paid this, right? I never made that payment. And the bank says, okay, we're going to void that from here. From that point, you would then sort of realize that on your merchant, whatever process you have in that account there, and then you would delete it from here. Well, if you're refunded, it goes back to whatever the original, whatever, if they pay by credit card, it goes back to that credit card essentially. Or if you did ACH, it goes back to their account. Yeah, the money would go back to them there. If you void it, it's deleted. The money, if you void a payment in EZFacility, it's only deleting from the EZFacility record, right? That's not voiding it on your processor side. So, Anthony, I would definitely recommend reaching out to whatever merchant process you have. They could give you more info on that there too. All right, and anyone that needs the recording, that is usually up by the next day or the day after, so it should be up by tomorrow or Friday. When you log into your EZFacility account, click on the support, the help center icon up here. Go to events and webinars. You'll see you could register for this one here we're doing now. You'll see all the archived webinars down here. So check back here tomorrow and Friday, and our marketing team will upload this here. And that's where you could really check on that there as well. Okay, so yeah, guys, any questions? Of course, you always have our support team. Feel free to reach out. I will investigate some things here based off what a lot of you sent back here. And yeah, thank you all so much for joining us here. We're going to wrap up for today. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much.